What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast now. I'm Alex, and this video I want to talk about if the leaks for The Last of Us Part 2 are going to hurt the game. So let me just say a few things to get out of the way early. One, I want this game to be good. I want this game to be the best it can possibly be. I want people to play this game and to enjoy it thoroughly, okay? That's generally my approach for any video game, any movie I've ever covered on this channel is I want them all to be good. That's the end goal, right? For them all to be good, for everybody to be able to enjoy them. With that being said as well, I also know the leaks of this game. Now, I'm not going to talk about the leaks. I'm not going to say what the leaks are, so there's no spoilers here just in case anybody is afraid right now clicking off. I'm not going to talk about them, but I want to talk about the issue I think, that's larger around the gaming industry with The Last of Us in that these leaks were bombshell. These leaks were enormous. I think part of these leaks, I will say this, though, again, without saying what they are, I think one very particular element of the leak, people are running with the wrong information. It's very weird. You'll see what I mean when the game... So, sadly, I've fallen victim to the leaks. I think people are going to see when they play the game that they're wrong with one of the biggest things that people are talking about. So, just to kind of clarify that'll be very interesting to see how that plays out in the game, when it actually happens and with the gaming industry. And that's ultimately part of it. That's definitely part of it. Are these leaks going to hurt the game? I really don't see how they don't. This has been probably the biggest gaming leak of all time. I feel like it. I feel like people had compared this to like a Valve leak a while ago, that was like, the biggest thing in the gaming industry in terms of a leak. I don't see how this one can't beat it at this point, right? Because you have major things. And again, one of which is wrong that people are running with, one of which is right that people are also running with. But you have, if you type this into YouTube, you type this into Twitter, you type anything. If you type in The Last of Us Part 2, you're immediately spoiled because you know how YouTube and Google and all that stuff like finishes your statements for you? It will literally show you those leaks, right, in word form. So really, for those that are wanting to stay away, you cannot go online basically anymore. You can't type in The Last of Us Part 2. And what does this do again? Like in terms of like, will it hurt the game? I really do think so. You've seen people on every thread or every platform online, right? Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, Instagram, Reset Era, Reddit, all these places, all of these things, you see people over and over again saying, thanks for saving me money. Like, I'm not going to get the game now. All this stuff, you see people on Twitter saying like, hey, even the way Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann, which is a whole other issue, okay, an entirely other issue, but the way they addressed these leaks, they were definitely in big trouble no matter what. And that's what I've been saying as well. Whether you like or dislike the response that they gave to leaks, they're really, no matter what you do, they're in a pickle because they basically, let me tell you this, they basically confirmed the leaks in the apology, saying, like, basically they said, that sucks. Like, it is heartbreaking for us. I'm sure they're upset. I'm sure you're upset. The game's going to be good no matter what. Just try and ignore them and get to the game. That's pretty much what they did. Now, again, by saying that, that's pretty much saying the leaks were real. Now, you could say, well, Alex, what else were they going to do? You're right. Again, they were going to be in a tight spot if they did the opposite, because what would they do? They could say, oh, those leaks were lies. They weren't true. And then the game comes out, most of them are true, and then all of a sudden, Naughty Dog, they basically just lied to your face. So they were in a very tough spot, but it's basically damage control. It's absolutely damage control at this point because everybody knows, maybe not everybody. I'm sure there's people even on this channel, which I am. Let me tell you, for those that have been with me for so long and have watched all these videos and all that stuff, I'm very happy that you did not see these things. The Last of Us Part 2 is getting enormous, and I do mean enormous amounts of hate. And knowing the leaks, I can see it. I understand them. I kind of feel it too, but at the same time, we haven't played the game yet. So it's going to be really, I still think it's going to be a really interesting thing when we all get to play it. All the people that didn't get, find out everything, we all get to play it together, all get to experience together. And then if it sucks or if we don't like it, or whatever it happens to be, we get to talk about it and we get to do it all, still in one unit, which I do honestly, I like. I don't think any leak can really take that away because ultimately not everyone is going to see it. But you see people dropping pre-orders. Now, yesterday, it went back on sale. You can now pre-order it again on the PlayStation Store. So it's back up. So, This is going to be something that I don't know if we'll ever see, but I would love to know how many people, took away their. And another thing though is when they took it off the PlayStation Store, they issued refunds to everybody, but not everybody got the refunds. I don't even know if everybody officially got basically kicked off from pre-ordering the game. I don't know how any of that stuff worked because again, what we've talked about is. Once again, I want The Last of Us to be good. I want Ghost of Tsushima to be good. I want Sony to be fine. I'm a PlayStation guy, through and through. But they've done a terrible job with all of it. With the PS5, with The Last of Us Part 2, they've done disgustingly bad. And you're seeing it even now, the working conditions of not. Now, here's the deal. Under no circumstance was it right to leak this. Under no circumstance. Because this person, this employee, sure, they were treated badly, and what, that does suck, and that plays a bigger role in, like, what's the culture of Naughty Dog like what truly is going on there? Are they going to have problems moving forward? Is that going to influence if The Last of Us Part 2 sucks, or people really don't like it, or if it doesn't sell as well as they want, all of those things, Sony's going to take a look at Naughty Dog and probably clean up there. They're not going to close them down, but they will probably clean up and say, look, you're literally our top dogs, and we expect the greatest from you. The consumers expect the greatest from you. Stop messing around and let's get you back on track. I could very well see that being something. Now, will we find that out in the moment? No. I think that's something we find out later, kind of like how Rockstar did it, right? Rockstar announced GTA 6 is in early development, and what else did they say? They fixed the culture problem, or the crunch culture, but just culture in general in their studio. I honestly feel like we could get that from Naughty Dog in the future because, again, there's two sides that people are looking at from this. Let's not forget why this person did it. He was treated unfairly. There was rumors of performance bonuses and just bonuses in general, not paid to people. They weren't getting their full. There's a lot of stuff going on that Naughty Dog could have been doing, which is bad, very, very bad. Now, at the same time, he has now ruined a game that's been looked at for 3 years. This game has been known to exist for almost 3.5 years, right? They announced this right after Uncharted 4, and even before then, we probably all assumed, right, that this game was coming. Millions of people are waiting for this game. Now, did millions see the leaks? Probably not. Probably a couple 100,000, maybe 1 million people, in all, right? But not the majority, I would say, right? But he quite literally ruined the game for probably a couple 100,000 people. That's big. That's not something you really just say, oh, whatever, right? That is a massive, massive thing. And what that does. Plus, it's not only that. It's not only did he ruin it for those people. Not everybody is going to still get the game. In fact, you see YouTube videos. I saw a YouTube video on a recommended that said thanks for saving me $60. People are making YouTube videos saying those headlines that people are saying on Twitter and on Reddit and all that stuff, saying thanks for saving me money because I'm not buying it now. That's crazy. That's crazy. Is it going to cost them 500,000, 600,000 sales units? Maybe. Now, is that really going to hurt them? And you could argue that could ultimately be the finisher to this. Is if they expect this game to sell 15 to 20 million units and it sells 14 and a half. Is that the worst thing in the world? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily, but, who knows? That's just what we see online. Now, again, a lot of people that aren't online, and that's another thing to realize, too, is the whole world doesn't just live on Twitter. I think politically, a lot of people fall into that trap, too, right? That everybody is just on Twitter, when in reality, they're not. And so a lot of, polls and stuff like that, or just people's opinions on things, they're not always echoed by Twitter, because Twitter is just a smaller, collection. But it'll be interesting. Maybe more people have seen it than we thought. Maybe less people have seen it than we thought. Maybe more people are canceling pre-orders, maybe less. It's going to be very interesting. At the end of the day, it caps off. It caps off what has been, again, not a good run for this whole thing. The delays up until this point, getting it to May 29th, we're fine. It was the normal, we need more time to do it. We know that they had wanted Last of Us to come out in the fall. It was, that wasn't necessarily confirmed, but everybody in the inside has said that, right? Then they pushed it, it had its release date. They pushed it to May 29th. That was the day. So that delay right there, that one was fine, right? Because that was just, because they needed to fix more stuff, whatever. But the indefinite push and then all the stuff they were doing with the confusion of that and Ghost of Tsushima, it's been absolutely insane. I wish we could just go back to the days where, Uncharted 2 and 3, 2 years in between them. Uncharted 3 to The Last of Us, 2 years in between them. The Last of Us to Uncharted 4, that was 3 years, right? So it started to stretch out a little bit, but you also had Left Behind's DLC, and then Uncharted 4 to The Last of Us Part 2, 4 years. You had Lost Legacy, but it's also been just a whole lot of controversy in these years. it's kind of the modern internet age of all of this stuff kind of catching up, and Naughty Dog has been largely unaffected, I would say, from all of this stuff. The thing that people always say, like, hey, your favorite franchise isn't safe anymore, right? Because it get rebooted, it get like recast. There's so many things on the internet or just in culture now that can happen, and a lot of people's favorite franchises have been ruined. Gaming, movies, and like TV shows in particular, right? But nobody's favorite franchise is safe anymore, and it seems like it's caught up to, in my opinion, the King Studio and Naughty Dog in terms of their genre, and possibly The Last of Us Part 2. So I'm still enormous. Don't take this, as like I'm not getting the game. I'm getting the game day one. I'm excited. With that being said, I know the ending. I know the big things that happen throughout the game. So I don't know. My view of it may be skewed. I may not be caught. As like, oh my, like maybe the big moments aren't so big to me. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. It's just, I guess, the way of the world, the way that I do podcasts now, right? So I have to know this stuff. I also kind of fell victim to it. So there was a lot of stuff that happened. It's okay though. I'm excited to talk about this game with you guys. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're still gonna have a lot of fun leading up to it. We're gonna have so many different kinds of videos, even doing like The Last of Us kind of stuff, the first game, and then when the second game comes out, we'll have loads of stuff there. Very excited for the multiplayer, right? How can they mess up the multiplayer? That'd be enormous if they messed that up. I don't even know how you would do that. So lots of fun stuff still to come. Let me know in the comments below though, guys. What do you think? What do you think about these leaks? What do you think about kind of the culture inside Naughty Dog? All the stuff I discussed. Let me know. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed, have that bell icon turned on, and we will be again continuing our Last of Us coverage. As we get closer to it coming out, we'll have more and more videos. We'll try and do some events. I do want to play like the multiplayer of The Last of Us, so we're gonna do lots of different stuff leading into it. Same thing with Ghost of Tsushima, and like I said, later today, or even just on the channel if you guys are watching this days later, there's a Ghost of Tsushima video that I think is going to be pretty darn important, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.